Who's reading Quran?
She's here.
Go ahead.
Let me invite my dear sister, Nabila, come for the recitation of the Quran.
Amen.
Those who come for this program, you should come down. You should come. They are all there.
chairperson.
When
Ó ṣe
you
wà ń bọ̀
want
ní aago
to make
mọ́kànlá.
like your right hand
Dr. Rekia.
that is an error to prevent. What I am
Hmm?
and if the woman whom you marry with their mahar, that's when they free bridal money, given by the husband to his wife at the time of marriage, with a good heart. But if they, of their own good pleasure, remit any part of it to you, take it and enjoy it without fear of any harm. Because Allah has made it known. The sweet truth in last verse says, and give not to the foolish your property, as Allah has made many of support to you. But be and love them, value and speak to them words of kindness.
Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Takbir. She's our daughter, and she's currently doing her youth service. She's serving the nation. Now, this is the result you get when you raise your child the way you should raise your child. Having Western education does not stop her from learning the Quran. As a matter of fact, her ability to learn the Quran will help her to study better. Learning the Quran is not something that anybody can do. Once you learn the Quran, your brain opens up. Wallahi, that is the truth. May Allah help our daughter. May Allah bless her with more knowledge. May Allah strengthen her faith. Put her feet firm on this path that she already is. And very soon, we'll be doing another nikah here. Inshallah. May Allah make it so. So thank you so much. At this point, we want to invite our national our national chief imam to welcome us. He's our father here. He's our leader. I will say a little before he comes on. He conceived of this program. He creates programs every day. I don't know how he does that. He just wakes up and says, "No, there is a program we have to do." And before you know it, we're all, enrolled and making sure it works. Allah has so endowed him and blessed him with that faculty. May Allah continue to honor him. May Allah continue to, strengthen him with all that he requires to continue to lead us. Yeah, Imam, your people are waiting to be welcomed by you. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وعلى إمام المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد. My madams who are here, let me start because they are my right. The Prophet said you should start from your right. That's why I'm starting from my right. But I'm supposed to start from my front. Ustaz Abdulhamid Salah, he ran back here because of this program. Because he came late in the night. You are welcome, sir. And Ustaz Mubarak, I want to welcome you too. Our mothers, I do not know how to greet you during this month of Ramadan because I know Allah in His infinite mercy is greeting all of you because you do extra work, you go extra mile in an attempt to please your God. I pray that Allah will accept all these your efforts as an act of ibadah. And Allah promised, Inna Allah la yudi'u ajrul muhsinin. Allah says we never waste the efforts of any good doer. That whatever you do, be rest assured that it lies with Almighty Allah. Before I welcome you, I want to start by appreciating all our mothers. The chairperson here today, I think Dr. Rekia, I actually want to be looking for her. I say, where is she? Until when I saw her here. And the committee that is working on this, I always tell people, women in Habibiyah, it's not that they are many, but wallahi they are pride. They stand out. When you give two of them something to do, just go and slay. Be rest assured that you will get results. I was with some group of big men yesterday or early this morning. We were talking about the challenges that Islam has. And we discover everybody is looking for power. Everybody is looking for recognition. We do not have concerted efforts to think for Islam. What exactly are we looking for as Muslims? The moment we see one program here, we want to do here, we want to be there. We do not even have a focal point. We don't even know where we are going as an ummah. So it now becomes any little things, you will see one organization here. Any little things, you will see one organization there. When I say inshallah, we will not talk. We want to.
I think so because can we take some recitation?
Which recitation again?
Anyone from anywhere.
They've done recitation now.
Mm.
They've done Quranic recitation.
They want this girl.
Yes.
Okay. Because I asked Halima to wait, let me call her. I just called.
Who's Halima?
This is Wada.
Oh, okay.
And God knows, I fear women so much, and well, I still respect them. We are just, how do I call it? We are just passerby. As you see us sitting here, we are just passerby. The moment we finish, we are going. You do your things in your own way. Now, with apology, as I'm leaving this place, another program is waiting for us in the mosque. We are doing another program. From there, we are going to NTA. We have another live program, Ramadan Link, and that one starts around 12:30. So there is no way we can wait. Dr. Reke, I hope you are listening to me. Then when we finish, we still have another program back in the mosque around 2. And around 4, we have another program in Zone. So today is not... I was talking about the Muslim Ummah, that we do not actually have any concerted efforts to bring ourselves together, to have a particular focal point. And we held a meeting, and I said, our women, we should start something. And Alhamdulillah, we just conceive an idea, and before you say what, the program is becoming fruitful. But before that time, I want us to know one thing in Habibiyah. Yes, we bear a name for just recognition, but our intention, our focus is actually the entire Ummah. Inshallah, the mosque that we are seeing, that we thank Almighty Allah that is coming up, is not the mosque of Al-Habibiyah. It's not Hausa Muslim mosque. It's not going to be Yoruba Muslim mosque, but it's going to be the mosque of the Muslims. I know that you understand my English. And inshallah, our intention is that people will be leading prayer, will be coming from every corner of this country, and not just an organization thing. Then when we start from there, we begin to see ourselves as one. We'll be able to plan ahead. Where are we going? And one of the ways that we want to use to plan ahead is this program. That let's begin to come together. Let's begin to have a focus. Not just the way we used to do it, you do your own, I do my own, and we become so fractured here and there. If we continue to be like that, we can never get to anywhere. We will retain the status quo of the Nigerian Muslim, majority with minority status. And that's why we'll be seeing so many problems in the offices, on the streets, on the road. We won't be anywhere. But once again, I want to thank this committee, right from Aja Aisha Ismail. We appreciate you and you well done. We have a young woman here who plays any role. I know she doesn't know how to pronounce her name very well. I'm the only one that knows. It's only people from Okene that we know that I'm the only one. She used to think she's, but I know her as Olose Salami. And, no, can you see? She doesn't even know how to pronounce Olose. She used to call it Onyeche. But I used to say it's Rafatu Olose Salami. So we want to thank you, and we want to appreciate you for your tired, how do I say, somebody who doesn't used to get tired. How do you say that? Tireless, being what you are. May Allah continue to support you. And we have Habibiyah Ramadan Ozigi, also a member, and the new Amaria who happens to be the secretary of this committee. We appreciate you and all those that you are working together to make sure that this thing becomes a reality. What we do as Muslims, there was a man, the great grandfather of South African states. His name is Chaka Dizulu. He always asks one question: is there a better way of doing things than the way we are doing it? Once again, I welcome you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Imam, thank you so much for that warm recognition. Imam, I know you have a very tight schedule, but before you leave, sir, I want to let you know that planned for today, Dr. Rekia is going to be chairing the session.
She was the one I first appreciated.
Yes. And then Her Excellency, the wife of former governor of Kogi State, is our special guest. She's on her way.
Okay.
And Imam, we also have here the guest, the lecturer for today.
Oh, I've been looking for her.
She's already here. She came in much earlier.
Please, I want to. I wouldn't mind. Where is she?
She's the one.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, that's Haji Aisha Dabiru.
Okay.
You want me to give you the mic, sir?
Yes, just to thank her. Haji Aisha, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to mention you specially, but mind you, I've been working for you. I don't know whether you know. You know that? I'm happy you know. We even discussed about you about 2-3 days ago about that big word that you are. Incidentally, I've never met you face to face or to recognize you. We thank you. And I still have our wife, who I supposed to also thank. But there's an adage in Yoruba, "Oni omalagbade okin loko." I know many of us might not know the meaning of that. That the child of a blacksmith, is very hard for him to get his own cutlass. Because the father, whenever he was preparing something for his son, somebody will bring money that I want to say, don't worry, I will do your own later. Let me finish those who are coming. Don't worry, I will do your own later. At the end of the day, he might end up not having anything. And that is why I didn't mention Aja Wubajo, who has been part of that continuously, consistently, and persistently. And to all our mothers and sisters who are also here from Habibiyah, I always don't like to say from Habibiyah because in as much as we are Muslims, we have one language here. The moment you call me, we don't have a visitor. We don't have a stranger. The moment you call me, you are one of us. And even Aja Maimuna, that I know she's warming up. Many people don't know her. Dr. Rekia, do you know this Aja Maimuna? Do you know her? You don't know her word. I'm the one that knows her word. She's one woman that is ready. Send her to Calabar today, and as she's landing, say tomorrow you have to be in Kebbi. The only thing she said, let me change my dress. That will be the only answer. She's not the type that just look for any work that you know needs results. Involve her, believe me, you will know you have somebody. And she never gets tired. But you don't know. So we want to thank you. And the moment she came in, she's almost ready to do anything too. I'm always happy when we are not many, but we have quality people. That when we are 3, we should be able to control millions. I always tell people, I want you to put at the back of your mind, do we know the population of Israelites, including their bastards? Do you know their population? They are not up to 80 million, all throughout the world. The Israelites, they are not up to 80 million, including the Askelim, including their bastard, the one which they didn't claim. What is even 80 million? They are not more than 40 million. And mind you, they are the one controlling the entire world of about 6 billion, whether you like it or not. If you like pretend and say something, say any English, they are the one controlling everything. And that's what we have been begging Almighty Allah to make us. It is not that number that matters, but we should be able to change world for better. May Allah grant us that strength. May Allah give us that opportunity, and may He accept it from each and every one of us. I always tell people, personally, I have one personal intention, one request from Allah before He takes my life. It's too big, and I always like to say it with pride. I want to convert a serving American president to Islam before I leave. Salaam alaikum. No. But I'm close to it.
Yeah, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you so much, Imam. Are you, nobody is staying with us?
No, just do it your own way.
It's for women by women.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. And at this point, we are moving into what we will call the real session. We are done with the opening. Let me have the honor and privilege of inviting Dr. Rekia Mohabedi to the high table. She is the chairperson of this event. Dr. Rekia is a pillar for us, is a mother, a pillar for us in a Habibiyah Islamic society. She's a very strong woman. She's a doctor because she has PhD. Okay, she did first degree, second degree, then PhD. I need to emphasize that because a lot of us are still struggling with second degree. Then when you now hear some people say we should not educate the girl child, you wonder which book they are reading, because here we have a woman who has a doctorate, who is a Muslim, who is a mother, and who is doing great things for Islam at a period. Dr. Rekia, we are expecting our guest, Her Excellency, the wife of the former governor of Kogi State, Habibiyah Ramadan. She will soon be joining us, but before she joins us, Dr. Rekia will give us her remarks, and then we'll move into the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Ramadan Kareem to everyone who is here. Distinguished ladies and our very big gentlemen along this line. I'm talking of our children gentlemen. They are the big ones, and the other gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time to be with us. As you know, it's not every day that we put people together to do this. And because it's even Ramadan, it's a tiring period for everyone. But you have all come out to listen to the words of Almighty Allah. As we sit and as we go through the Ramadan, may Almighty Allah continue to bless us. We've started the Ramadan. May He help us to end it. And as we end it, may we end the reward of those who have fasted right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
So we move straight. Let us at this point acknowledge all those who are online. We have people following us online right now. We want to acknowledge them and share the link so that others too can join us as we are beginning the lecture. I'll give you a brief of our lecturer for today so that we understand the quality of what we are about to get. She's my sister, proudly so. she's our sister, right? Okay, so because we are all Muslims here, so we are sister. But I'm going to lay a more deeper claim to her because of some other reasons. Aisha is a school, is a trainer, she's a coach, she's a counselor, she's a therapist, she's a mentor, she's a consultant. Relationship issue. I said no. Hajj Aisha is the person that will answer this question, not me. She's a relationship expert, she's a marriage counselor, and she's a certified neuro-linguistic programming master public practitioner and therapist. It's a mouthful. Isn't it? But that's how important what she does is. She has a passion for guiding individuals to contribute meaningfully to society. She's a certified purpose and potential to service specialist, a professional certification geared towards empowering individuals and outlining the direction.
I will tell them to move it.
And that is why she is taking a very important topic today. The topic she's taking is how to instill lessons learned in Ramadan, post-Ramadan. Ramadan is a training period for us. We try to avoid what we should avoid, we do the things right, but what happens after Ramadan? That is what she's going to be doing. Let me not take too much of your time. Hi, Aisha, over to you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وعقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you very much, my dear sister, Hajia Rafat. It's always been a pleasure, and it gives me great pleasure to be here with everyone today. And I also want to, welcome our guests who are online. I think, can I use this? Okay, let me use this. Okay, thank you. So, we will be looking at the topic, how to instill better habits. And not only how to instill them, but how can we sustain them post-Ramadan? Because for us, the blessed month of Ramadan is the training period, like Sister Rafat said. And, we get a lot of changes in Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen for this blessing. Now, the most important part is, how do we sustain these changes post-Ramadan? I've met some of my sisters who done the hijab during Ramadan, some people who stop smoking, some people who have very bad habits, stop them during Ramadan. How can we then ensure that because if Ramadan is training us and has shown us that we have the ability to actually stop this habit, then we should understand that we have the ability to, sustain it long term and not make it, just for the period of Ramadan. And the question is, what are habits in the first instance? Let's even watch, this video. Can you kindly play the video 1 on habits? Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
It is for your well-being. Your brain really is the most precious friend you have. Treated that way as an unhappy brain means an unhappy you. Our brains suffer from the many unhealthy habits.
If we do
we
this,
often
those
consider
online,
harmless.
I think they can see this.
Unfortunately, most people realize their mistakes too late. If you care about your brain and want to maintain its health, try to break free from the following habits. 1. You don't have breakfast.
Okay, so what this video is about is just listing some habits, bad habits that, over time, people develop, like not eating breakfast early, smoking, and, not sleeping, not having enough sleep. So all these are things people do constantly. So it becomes a habit, right? I'll go back to the slide now. And I would have loved for the participants to watch the video. Nonetheless, we would continue. And before we, go further, I am going to give everyone just a minute to actually, make a resolution of what you hope to take away from this session today. And you can write it down. I would encourage you put down a minimum of 3 points you hope to take away from this session today. And I'm pacing you into, this lecture, inshallah. So I'm going to give everyone 1 minute to do that. Please kindly project the slide. Okay, so the time is up. Now, we're going to be looking at habits from the neuro-linguistic programming angle. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to look at how the brain works in relation to our programming over time and the function of language in relation to all of this. Because this is how we form our habits from when we're very, very young. Imagine a child, a new child is born, and when the child is born, the child's brain is, almost empty, right? And then imagine everybody around the child starts dropping, let's assume that the child's brain is like a mailbox, and everybody starts dropping letter in that mailbox. What happens? The mailbox gets full, and the child is reading those letters, and some of the instructions in that letter may not be the same. Some may even oppose, right? So you now see where some of the subconscious and irregular behavior of some people come from, because they have conflicting instructions and they've been unable to resolve it. So now this child grows up with all this, programming, and then what happens? Those instructions, everything the child has been told has not gone anywhere. The child carries it around for life. Now, who is the oldest person in this room? Let's say 70 years. If the person has a trigger for something, okay, thank you. So, let's say that the person has a trigger for something maybe that happened 50 years ago, 60 years ago. It could be the smell of maybe a pot of soup that, has the same smell as the mother of the person, and then it triggers a memory of that incident. So, whoever you are, wherever you are, everything that has ever happened to you, you carry it around. That data, that entire data, is like, it's what you call it's in your subconscious, so it's like a programming. You run it at all times. It's only that you may not be paying attention to it at all times, but it's in the background. The metaphor used to describe this is the iceberg metaphor. It's like, when you have the iceberg, you have like a lot on that, but what you can see at the tip is just a little. And that little that you can see, have any of you watched Titanic? That little that you can see is just a minute part of who you are. The subconscious is the one who actually has what we call the rule book, because it has filters and it has told you over time. It has given you a rule of how to behave in most situations. So let's even assume that 90% of you is submerged as the iceberg. It's in your subconscious. They are your memory. They are your data. And what you can see is the conscious part of you, which is only about 10%. Now, who runs the show? The unhidden part of you runs the show, right? So, and this, what guides all your habits. This, my people, is where you need to go to when you need to really change a habit. That's why you see some people say, I've tried to change. It's not happening. It's because there is a process to it. So whatever we are, all of us, each individual has their own model of the world. And each individual's model is like a map, right? If I ask 2 people, 3 people to draw the map of Nigeria now, the map is likely to look different. But to you, it still represents Nigeria, right? So that's what the imprint of our childhood and our growing years has done to us. We carry this imprint. And if we don't go back to process them, especially when we're trying to change a habit, it would follow us for life and we would not know what is happening, you know. So it's very important for us to understand that each individual's map of the world is different. And this map of the world is gotten from 3 significant channels, 3 significant influences that program everybody. And what are these influences? We have the influences of upbringing, right? That's why in Islam it's very important. Child tarbiyah is very, very, very important. As parents, we're going to answer for how, you know, we were able to be in charge of our flocks. Each of us were shepherds. And, you know, the other time, I was joking with my sons. You know, I was giving them an instruction, and I told them that I'm in charge here. And then I was laughing. And I looked back and I said, what I'm saying now is very weighty, but I'm laughing about it. Yeah, Allah, guide me, you know. And they were now smiling. So this thing that we're laughing about is very, very, very important. They say, what you tell a child long after you're born is what they go back to reflect on. Is their memory. They carry it around for life. That thing you told them, and it's part of their unhidden rule book. Sometimes they don't even know that voice in their head is not their own, because years of, you know, layers and layers of programming has submerged the original voice. They now own it. That's why sometimes people who abuse their child a lot, the child now owns the abuse, because they come to believe, okay, my mother is the authority, or my father is the authority in my life. If he says I'm useless, I must be useless. And before you know it, that voice takes over. And the child starts to think, oh, it's my voice that's telling me I'm useless, then I must be very useless. So we need to watch it as parents, as colleagues, as in whatever part of our life, as stakeholder in all parts of our life. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, managing our habits, because give it or take it, we are made for connection, we are connected. And this connection means that we are part of other people's reality, short, medium, and long term, and they are part of ours. And we contribute to their evolution as individuals just as much as they contribute to our evolution as individuals. It's only that the percentage may differ, right? So we need to watch significant, and you know, upbringing, some part of our upbringing is where we get our significant emotional experiences. And some of these significant emotional experiences, they may be from the home, or they may be from outside our cycle of, you know, influences. Let me give you an example. There was a lady recently that told me that, I'm very generous, but my brother is, very stingy. And I like, And she's like, okay, what's the neuro-linguistic programming explanation for this, because our parents are very generous people. And I told her, think back to when you felt that it was good to be generous. Don't dwell on it. Just allow your brain take you to that moment, and it will definitely take you to that moment. And then she told me that her first experience of how she felt when somebody was generous to her, that made her resolve to be more generous, was she had a schoolmate when she was in primary school, and this schoolmate would bring her, pack her lunch. And then this touched her so much. And I okay, the influence was not even from the home. So it's very important that we take care of our community. If we can't take care of ourselves only. If we look at child tarbiyah, scholars have said that it is not enough that you train your child. You start from yourself first. Tarbiyah starts from the self. So as adults, we do not have the excuse of bad parenting, environmental influences. We have to reparent ourselves. If there are any deficiencies that we need to check, we need to do it. Because Allah has told us to seek for knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ, all his life was based on knowledge. So we don't have any excuse. Knowledge is the key. We need to seek for knowledge. And then we need to also train our children, our family. We need to be there for them. And it doesn't stop here. Scholars have said that it is our responsibility to go out into the community, to educate the community. Because your child will go into the community where you live and do business and work, and it can, and alhamdulillah, Allah has even made it global today. In spite of the pandemic, we're here today sharing knowledge. So we can't stop at ourselves, we can't stop at our family. It is an obligation on each and every one of us to share, seek knowledge. And not only seek and share it, but implement it. It is very key. And then we have environment and education. This is the third influence. Remember, I said the first influence was upbringing, the second one was significant emotional experiences, and then the third one is environment and education. You see, they are all tied together. You can't discuss one and leave out the other. And these are where our habits come from, right? So the environment we find ourselves is very key to who we become as individuals. And not only do we limit ourselves to environment, but we also have to look at the education, the kind of education we expose ourselves to. We have people who have come from very bad environments, and against all odds, are world changers today, positively, because we have negative world changers, right? So in spite of all the odds, they have become, now if we check it, we see that the influence of the environment is very strong on every individual. Think back to where your journey so far, where you've come from and where you are at the moment and where you plan to go. When you think about all this, you take your environment into consideration. And then we need to watch our internal filters. The things that contribute to all these three influences, what are they? From the neuro-linguistic programming perspective, they are what we call the internal filters. They are language, belief, our values, our attitudes, our memories, our decisions, and our mental programs. What does all this even mean? If I tell you to think of an orange kangaroo, for instance, or I tell you, don't think of an orange kangaroo, the same thing comes to your mind. The orange kangaroo will come first, before even you think about, anything. Now, if I tell you to tell me, what is pink in your native tongue or your first tongue? Can you tell me? Now, how can you comprehend an experience for which you do not have a label for? Labeling is key to how we process our experience. Like, for instance, if I want to tell my grandmother or great-grandmother in the village that I'm sending you a pink wrapper, how am I going to tell her for her to actually understand the pink I'm referring to? So you need to be able to have the language to codify your experiences, to be able to comprehend that experience. You're welcome. have the language to codify our experiences, to be able to comprehend them. Then we have our belief. Belief are those rules by which we guide ourselves as individuals. They may not necessarily be true, but the thing is that we have taken them as true and correct for ourselves. And some of them may limit us. So we need to check our beliefs. Do they limit us or do they enhance us? And then we need to start to, correct them where necessary. And then we have our values. Our values are those things that are important to us. Okay. So our values are those things that are important to us. And our memories, I spoke about the importance of memories just now. How important it is to who we have become and who we are becoming in the course of our lives. All those influences of upbringing, the emotions we went through, and the environment we grew in, and the education we're exposed to. How all this are part of our memories, and then we have triggers that trigger them at, sometimes very inconvenient moments. And then the decisions we take, do they empower us or do they disempower us? The decisions we take to do some things or to stop doing some things. And how do we go about it, which is one of the core to what we are discussing today, how to instill better habits and how to sustain them. So we'll just look at this video and then go back to the slides. Welcome back. I hope you learned, some tips from that video about some bad habits, and also if you picked anything there that you currently do and you don't know, the ramifications, now you know better. We're going to be discussing tips on how to have better habits and sustain them in the course of this lecture, inshallah. So the tip I would want us to look at now, we're going to share about 3 tips for instilling better habits and also for sustaining them. I will start with the first one now. A wise man said that the illiterate of the 21st century is not he who cannot read nor write, but he who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we have to be able to, unlearn some things we already know in the face of new and superior information. For example, our ancestors used to travel via camels. Would it be wise when the aeroplane was invented for them to say, no, we're not going by aeroplane? Our forefathers are used to traveling via camels. What do you think? Now, so how do you even do this? How do you learn, unlearn, and relearn? We're going to look at the 4 stages of learning from research. And what are those 4 stages? Please display the 4 stages. The 4 stages, it's on the slide 14. Now, the 4 stages of learning, we have the unconscious incompetence, and then we have the conscious incompetence, and then we have conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. What does all this mean? I'll explain in a moment. When an individual is unconscious about their incompetence, they're incompetent about something, but they're not even thinking about it. They are unconscious about the fact that in this particular area, I am incompetent, right? Let's take the example of maybe a child that's just been born. When the child is born, the child cannot, speak, cannot sit, cannot walk, but the child does not even know that these things exist. What happens after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? It's with wonder that you watch a child grow. Sometimes I ask my children, come, is it in the night that you guys add height? Although I know they don't know, right? That's in one of the secrets of Allah. So, when a child is unconscious about the fact that walking, talking exists, but with time, the child starts to see other people walking around. And then the child is now conscious that, okay, people walk around, people talk, but the child is still incompetent about this. The child does not have this capacity. So we say at this stage that the child is now conscious of these things, but cannot yet do it. The child is conscious, but the child is still incompetent. So we say the child is consciously incompetent. And what happens when the child starts trying to, walk? The child starts sitting first, then standing, then the child starts taking steps. What happens? The child does it consciously, and the child will stand, take a few steps and fall down. But what happens? The child will lift him or herself up again and continue. The child is conscious of each step he or she takes. And then from this, what happens? The child graduates to unconscious competence, right? The child now knows how to walk and even run. Does the child now think about walking and running? The child is now unconscious, but the child is competent, right? So can you see how you can form new habits with this process of the 4 stages of learning? When you fall, you stand up. When you fall, you stand up until you are now conscious, and then you even forget how you learned it in the first place. Will the child go back to learn how to walk? Maybe if an incident, but it's not natural for a child to reverse back to, learning to walk. The child now runs around like that little girl running around, and the child doesn't have to think about it consciously anymore. And this is one of the keys to changing a habit. Although you may fall while trying to practice this habit, you continue to get up each time you fall, right? And then you continue to practice the habit until you become unconsciously competent at it. And by the will of Allah, it will happen. Just keep your eyes on the goal. Then we have what we refer to as the neurological levels of change. The neurological levels of change is a research by somebody named Robert Dilts. When Robert Dilts did this research, he came to the conclusion that you can make change at several levels. And the greatest level is at the spiritual level. And what does he mean by this? Let's look at the levels. The levels start from environment. The neurological levels of change, it starts from the level of the environment. And he said, if you want to make a change in any area of your life, is the environment conducive to this change? Right? How do we even mean? Environment in this instance includes everybody. It's not only about, the physical environment. The TV in your house is an environment. Some people now train their children via TV. Everything the child learns is from the TV. So that TV in that house for that child is the child's environment. And some people, go to places where they have friends. Their friends, encourage them to smoke or drink or do other, negative habits. If they want to change to a positive habit, how do they do this? The Prophet ﷺ related to us that we should watch our companions. It's very important. You see the kind of people he surrounded himself with. He said that your companions, he likened it to either befriending somebody who is a blacksmith, and when you go into, a blacksmith store, you are likely to come out with, the smell of the smell of sweat or a bad smell. But what happens if you associate with somebody that has marks on their body? It rubs off on you. So you should watch your environment. It is very, very important. And your environment is everything around you. Then the next level is your behavior. How do you behave? One of the scholars said that your character is religion. That he who has surpassed you in character has surpassed you in religion. So watch your behavior. Be kind, be gentle. And if you don't yet know how to do this, there is still hope. You can practice it, right? You can use the first stages of learning to practice how to change your behavior. And once you do this, you become better at it. The next level is at the level of your beliefs and values. What are those things you hold to be true and correct? If you check it against the frame of reality, against the frame of Islam, is it halal for you to hold those beliefs and values? Let me give you an example. For somebody who values wealth and does not value honesty, this individual will get to wealth through whatever means. So, are your values true and correct? If they are not, you still have the opportunity to practice the real values that are halal. Then we come to the level of skills and knowledge. Do you have the skills and knowledge needed for change to happen? Thank you. If you do not have the skills and knowledge, you can start to practice it now. Then we have at this level of identity, how do you see yourself? If you ask me how I see myself, I will tell you that I'm a loving and passionate Muslimah. And I strive to seek knowledge and share this knowledge for my own benefit and for the benefit of my community. And while doing this, to grow my influence for generations to come, and also seeking halal wealth through this avenue. How do you see yourself there, sisters? How do you see yourself there, brothers? you need to have a strong sense of identity. This is enough to cause positive change to happen, and for you to sustain it long term, you have to be consistent in seeing yourself from an empowering perspective. Then, at the level of spirituality, you know, for conventional people, spirituality is anything that gives you a sense of peace. For us Muslims, having a relationship, a real connection with Allah gives us a sense of peace. Right? So, at the level of spirituality, can you see, can you feel that connection? Do you know why you are here on earth? Allah reminds us in the Quran that He has created men and jinn, but to worship Him. So our purpose has already been, made clear to us. In whatever part of your life, are you worshiping Allah? You can worship Allah through whatever you are doing. You don't have to, it's not only in the mosque that you worship Allah. Once you have purified your intention, and then you take that action you're taking, it is worship. Because what? You have made the intention to use this to seek the pleasure of Allah. And then you go ahead and do this positive action. Even fighting your nerves, when you make the intention to do bad, and you fight yourself, and you don't do it, you get reward. And all this has been related to us as Muslims, to serve as reminders. So part of what we're doing here is reminders of how to instill those habits. Then, I have only about 4 minutes to go, so I'll summarize, the points as much as I can. We have the 3 A's that we can also use that's the third way of changing a habit now. We have the 3 A's. What are the 3 A's? The 3 A's are awareness, acceptance, and action. Awareness that this habit even exists. Do you see some people do this, fidget when they're standing? They're not even aware they're doing it. Sometimes when you even tell them, they will not accept. They'll say, it's just this once. So you even need to be aware that you're doing that first. Then beyond awareness, you need to accept that yes, this is a bad habit. Or if it's a good habit, you even need to accept, okay, this is a good habit, I want to enhance it. Then you now have to take action. You remember? We are told that it is important to take action on whatever we want to do. We take action and then rely on Allah. There was a hadith related where the Prophet ﷺ told one of the Sahabas, he left his camel, by the mosque side, and he was going into the mosque, and the Prophet asked him, how about that camel? You didn't tie it. And he said, yes, I've left that camel under the care of Allah. And the Prophet said, go back, tie it, and then trust Allah. Right? So, whatever habit we intend to change, we have to take action. And how do we take action? By setting out what we want to do. In Neurological programming, you can replace a behavior with another. You can replace a negative behavior with a positive behavior. And you do this by envisioning yourself. Because you allow your mind go there first before your body follows. So each time that bad habit, come to you, is it smoking? Envision yourself doing something else, like maybe doing sports. And maybe throwing, step. One of the games that the Prophet said we should learn. Swimming. And you actually go out and do it. Take action on that thing, you want to replace. Replace that behavior with a positive one. Because as human beings, we absorb a vacuum. So whatever you're doing, you have to replace it. You have to replace a negative with a positive. And you have to do it practically and consistently. Remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ on consistency. He said that we should do all actions, even if it is small, but we should do it consistently, and Allah will bless us. So we need to be consistent, and we need to do this, haven't purified our intention to use this to serve Allah, and then Allah will bless it for us. Allah has told us in the Quran that He will not change the condition of a people until they change that which is in themselves. And the scholars have told us that, they've explained this to us to mean that when you seek from Allah, Seek with a clean heart. Have taqwa. And then action. Take action on those goals you want to achieve. And Allah will bless it for you. And continue to have patience. And continue to be steadfast. And continue to have hope. When an individual reaches a point of hopelessness, it is the trick of Shaitan for the son or daughter of Adam, for the son of Adam. It is a trick of Shaitan when you reach a point of hopelessness, because hope always exists. Look at the story of Prophet Ayub. He lost everything. Even his wife was telling him, curse Allah and die. And what happened? Allah restored everything to him plus more. What of Prophet Yunus that was swallowed by the whale? What happened? He came back. What of Prophet Ibrahim, our father, that was catapulted into a flame? They catapulted him because they cannot. What happened? After the flame died down, he came out of the flame walking. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. And hold steadfast to the rope of Allah. The rope of Allah never fails. It has never failed generations. It will not fail us, and it will not fail generations to come. We have to keep the hope alive. We have to be steadfast. We have to have tawakkul. We have to have taqwa. May Allah guide us, bless us, and may He forgive me where I erred today, and may He make the listeners understand what I have said, even much more than I have said it, and may He strengthen each and every one of us to change that habit we plan to change, and may He make it beneficial for dunya wa akhirah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan. It's been a pleasure to be at Al-Habibiyah and to be with you, and for all those that joined us online, Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you, sister.
Allahu Akbar. Listening to her anywhere she goes to, I go with a Bible and paper. Sometimes I add a dictionary to it, because I know I'll be learning new words and concepts. May Allah continue to enrich you, and thank you for being so great audiences. There is another thing we are going to do right now. Somebody is going to summarize what you have said in Hausa, because we have a lot of Hausa speakers here who don't speak the kind of English you are speaking, because it's elevated English, right? So we're going to have a translation, but before then, as you as you saw while the lecture was going on, we had told you that we were expecting a very honorable and distinguished woman to join us. Alhamdulillah, she joined us. She joined us because we didn't start early. She had, she was on her way when we told her to hold on that we were not ready. Because we know her, she's a very prompt person. Even before she became First Lady of Kogi State, she had been a very humble woman, a very dedicated and committed person. She's a woman who is passionate about whatever she lays her hands on. As First Lady of Kogi State, her name is Hajia Hawada, so let me continue from there. When she was First Lady of Kogi State, all the things she did to touch the lives of the vulnerable are still evidences that are yet to be surpassed. Her humility was also a landmark, even when she was First Lady of Kogi State. Maybe it's because of her where she started from. She started from the banking sector. She's a very prudent person. She's very, 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 very calculating in what she does. And she's a role model to many people, because when you see the way she does her things, you really, really want to do your things the way she does it. Hajia, you are very much welcome. And I don't know if I have a permission to also say that even before the program started, if she had not thrown a bucket of water on us, we would not have been able to gather here. She did so much to support this program. May Allah enrich you. And she's not doing it for political fame or anything, but that is what she does naturally. Your pulse will not dry, inshallah. Let me at this junction welcome her and ask her to give us a brief remark before we continue. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. You're welcome. You may sit down.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Habibiyah women, we are at it again. I got this information just 2 days back that there's going to be this program, and I was informed this is the first of this type, because every year we used to have Habibiyah Ramadan lecture, which is coming up tomorrow, and despite that, they've done well to put this together. And even though I didn't start with you from the beginning, as she said, but the few minutes I've spent with you, one would think that you already know a lot. There's nothing to learn. But I want to say that anytime you listen to a knowledgeable person speak, you know that you must speak one or two information. And I have learned from what she has told us. And before I move on, I want to ask my group, the Habibiyah women, that when we organize this kind of function, it would be nice we try to bring in the younger generation, because they need to learn a lot. We try behind the scene to coach them, but you know nowadays the younger people can be rebellious. So, and having listened to her for a few minutes, I know that there's a lot for them to learn from this kind of program. Like I learned about unconscious incompetence. Keep your eyes on the goal until you become competent. You know, these are issues that we come across every day in our lives, unconsciously. Like I said, especially the younger generation, the youth. We need to pay more attention to them and groom them. We as mothers, we have the duty to make sure that we groom our youth. It's more difficult these days with technology, internet, and all that, but we'll still try to do our best. And level of spirituality, we can never learn too much, because it is something we try to achieve every day of our lives. And I want to say that Islam has become a way of life. It is a culture. Islam is a beautiful religion. Once we imbibe Islam, I want to say that we have gotten everything in life. Now, when she was talking to us, she said, Almighty God created us to worship Him. And as Muslims, once we have that behind our minds, everything has been achieved. Because there's nothing we want to achieve in life without remembering the Creator, Almighty Allah. And like I said, Islam is a way of life. Modesty, the way we speak, especially to women. Islam is beautiful to women. I will not regret being a Muslim woman. I carry my head high anywhere I go to as a Muslim woman. So I want to thank our sister for this good attempt. I know she has a lot to give us. We will be listening to her as time goes on. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Even from the way she's speaking, the humility, I would like to speak like her. The humility is evident. She's soft-spoken. My own is just quicker. May Allah continue to bless you, ma, and bless your household. Please give our very warm regards to His Excellency. You people have always been very strong members of our Habibiyah, so you are at home. You are not visitors to us. Even if we call you our guest, we did that just to honor you. You are not a guest in Habibiyah, you are a member of the Habibiyah family. May Allah continue to bless you. Now, we shall be going into an interactive session. We shall be going into an interactive session. But before we do that, Ajasha, please come. Let those who don't speak Hausa benefit from what has been discussed. So please just do a brief summary for them. Thank you.
Excuse me.
wata mu yanzu abin da ta bayani duk mun amfana. Rayuwar mu ta ɓaci yanzu sai ki ga 'ya'yar shekara 13 tana riƙe da wayan 100,000. Komai a cikin wayan nan zata ba za ki kula da cewa zo ki yi min aiki lokacin aiki ya zo mu yi aiki tare ba za ki saurari wannan ba. Kin batta tana ta danne rayuwanta na cikin waya ba ki damu ba. Sai kin zo kin aurata ita kunya ya kama ki. Ya zo kuna musanyan murya da sadiki. To da yana ɗaya daga cikin abubuwan da duk ta faɗa yanzu shine nake fassara mu. Dan Allah da Annabi kula da rayuwar ƴaƴayenmu da tarbiyyarsu. Kina ƴa mace, kina uwa mace, kina da ƴa budurwa baki san sayan pants ɗinta ba, baki san sayan brazier ta ba, baki damu da ita ba. Akwai wani hadisi da Annabi yake ce an talli da amatu rabbata baiwa za ta haifi uwar gijiyanta. Shi ne muke ciki yanzu. A cikin wannan rayuwar muke ciki yanzu. Mahaifi mu ne bayin mu iyayen, mu ne bayin muka haifi iyayen gidanmu. Su suke juya mu yanzu. Saboda baki saki motsi ba sai da sanarwar ɗanki ko sanarwar ƴarki baki damu da ita ba. Kin kyale ta ta siyo pant ta siya brazier baki ma san ma ina ta samu kuɗin. Ran da fa saurayi ya siya mata brazier zai so ya ga brazier. Ran da ya siya mata pant zai so ya ga pant ɗin. Me kike tsammanin zai faru nan gaba? Lalacewa ya samu. Ta lalace ƴar ko kuma za ki iya gyara ta ba. Ta fi ƙarfin ki. To a takaice abin da ta ɗan faɗa kenan shine na ɗan tsinci wasu ɗaya daga ciki na fassara mu. Salamu alaikum.
Takbir. Mashallah. Thank you, Hajiya Aisha. Mun gode. Wallahi mun gode sosai. Thank you so much. May Allah reward you. so that we all can benefit maximally from what has been said. Where is the lecturer? Where is Teacher Aisha? Okay, they are interviewing her. All right. I will have gone into question and answer series right away. Please, let her come around. But let me also say what I learned while I'm waiting for her. I was taking notes. No, she has to be the one to respond. We can't take questions behind her. Can we do that? Can we? If she's not here, we can't raise questions. She said that I liked was that you can replace a negative behavior with a positive one. She said Allah is patient, and we should be very patient. Replacing negative behavior with a positive. She didn't say we should go and sit down and be praying about it. A lot of people leave what they should be doing and they go and sit down and be praying about it. When you already have the capacity, both intellectually and physically, to change a situation, you sit down, you are praying that Allah will change it for you. But He already asked you to change it, that He will not change the condition of the people until they change what is inside them. So that means it is left for us to change what is in us and replace our negative behaviors with a positive one. But the question is, do we even identify that some of the things we are doing are negative behavior? Now, I think that's part of where I'm going to take her on. Do we identify the things we are doing as being negative that need to be changed for a positive one and replaced? But I think that if it's not working, it means it's not working. It has to be changed. If everybody tells you are quarrelsome, it means you are quarrelsome. I'm not sure everybody will be wrong about that. It means you have to change. Let us try and see ourselves as we are projected so that we can make changes. Who learned something else that I didn't mention? Okay, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I particularly took note of when she talked of child upbringing. And why I want to talk about this, especially when she told us that the lessons we learn, they stick to our brain and they remain there even when we grow old. Subconsciously, they are there. And I'm going to make a particular reference to the women folk. You know, our mouth is very acidic. We are fond of insulting our husbands in presence of our children. In presence of your children, you tell them, "Wow, mommy, what is wrong?" Say, "Don't mind this, your useless father." That thing is taken into your daughter. Or the husband, he turns you into a punchy bag. Subconsciously, unconsciously, the boys, the men he has, begin to feel that is the way to go. And when they get old and married, they become also very abusive in their family. And the daughter, you did not tell her you need to respect your husband because she sees mommy talk down on daddy anyhow. Even when you have misunderstanding, your children should not know about it. Stay in your small quiet corner in your bedroom. Put on your radio. If you want to quarrel. When you come out, you smile. So let us not imbibe in our daughters not to appreciate the men they are marrying. Because when she gets married, she will just take it. That's how mommy used to tell daddy, a useless man. They even say, I'm better off as a widow than this kind of life I'm living. And those are the things we are doing, which is very, very bad. So if we are used to bad-mouthing our husbands, this is the month of Ramadan. And I know that every woman wants to earn reward, and And so we'll keep that our acidic mouth in one corner and ensure that so that all our acts of ibadah are accepted in this month. If you can keep it in one corner, why not continue even after Ramadan, so that you will continue to earn a reward. And at the end of the day, you will be a proud mother who brings up her child very well. May Allah assist every one of us. So that's what I learned here.
What she just said is so critical to us as parents. Children are learning unconsciously how we are treating our spouses. They learn, and then they begin to act it out. Thank you so much, ma'am. Haji Arabi, you said you had something to say.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I also listened to her saying of negative and positive instincts, our subconscious mind. And I want to also make us remember while looking into our subconscious mind, searching through your negative and positive voice, she said we should listen to ourselves if we wake up. What we hear first. And most times, do we even know what was that negative voice of ours? And she also went ahead and said if it's possible to try to change the negative thought to positive. Some of us just go back home, sit from morning to night, thinking of nothing. Because of that subconscious mind that is there, we battle between it. We don't even know what is right or what is wrong. So it's time, it's the best time to come out and start asking ourselves, reforming ourselves, rediscovering ourselves, rediscovering ourselves, to model the good path and live this path. Yes, it's always the fight it and try to bring positive things, like mixing up with the right people, both with prayers, our neighbor, learning what they do right. Maybe the ones into trade, the ones into fashion designing, the ones into bakery, the ones selling water, the ones selling drinks. Let's try to change our habits. That is what we should try to change. That is all about change. So let's look and all try to achieve it through this Ramadan by prayers. So may Allah give us the opportunity to be stand fit in our prayers and our.
Thank you, Takbir. Somebody else had her hand up. Who had her hand up? Okay. Now Hajia is back, and it's time for us to take questions if you have any. Who has a question for her? Question. Let me see. No question. I have a question. Because while you were out, I also did my own recap of what I took. And one of the things I said I took was that we can replace a bad behavior with a negative behavior with a positive one. But my question is, people do this not even realizing that what they are doing is wrong. So how do you come to an understanding that what I'm doing is not right and it requires to be changed? Because you may just see that, it's not working, but you really don't know if what you are doing is wrong. Is there an explanation for that, please?
Thank you, Hajia Rafa. Thank you to all the contributors. On understanding about, something that you're doing is wrong, how do you get to understand that what you're doing is wrong? I would also come from the neuro-linguistic programming perspective. In neuro-linguistic programming, we'd say that the results that show up to you are from the actions you have taken. So we say there are three main things you do to check where you're going. You have a goal, always have a goal. Because we are people of, Islam. Our life has a purpose. So have a goal and then be observant. Okay, these things that I'm doing, am I achieving my goals? And then be flexible where there is need to change. If, for instance, I want to come like this, but I get here and I want to pass here, is it okay? If I'm flexible, I'll go like this. And how do you even come to realization that, okay, what I'm doing is negative or positive? If you are in a community of like-minded people, you tap from them and they will tap from you if you're doing the right thing. If you're not, somebody would advise you. Even if there is nobody to advise you. If Allah has gifted you with the ability to read and write, the world today is global. You can learn from anywhere. While you're learning, talk to those that can advise you. And if you do not belong to any organization and you are not constant, then you need to check yourself. There are a lot of Muslim organizations that you can go to and get people to mentor you so you can have the right knowledge. There are professionals whose job is it to take you through recovery of whatever sort of habit you have, or to cause a change to happen, or even if you want to grow from where you are currently. I am a professional. I am certified, to help people achieve their goals or recover from whatever they want to recover from, using time-tested tools. And I also, add, the Sharia recommendations when I'm doing, if it's professional therapy. And we can also guide you to do self-therapy. So all this, the world is so global today that you cannot claim ignorance. And if you claim ignorance, then the step to take, start work with people who you see are progressing positively, so they can guide you. May Allah, enable us to do good things and accept it from us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, my sisters. And she has just explained how you will know whether you are doing a negative thing or a positive thing. They have told us in Islam, anything you do that you are ashamed for people to see you, that tells you that that thing you are doing is bad. Okay, you are in midst of Muslim sisters. It's only you that comes in with a very long attachment. With all your head will be open, you wear skimpy clothes. For the fact that you are within that group, it tells you that your habit is negative. Your habit is negative. And if you look at all of us here, nobody came in with their head open. Nobody came in with their body exposed. And that means you are not ashamed to be in the midst, because you are doing what you know that is right in the sight of man and also in the sight of God. And I want to use typical prayer. For us women, when it's Ramadan, we stick to our prayers very, very well. We'll come to the mosque, we'll join prayers, we'll go for masjid, for askar and all that. But when the Ramadan is over, we begin to do combined honors. You know what is combined honors? You will just pray your Sufi prayer. In the office, you are ashamed for them to see you that you are going to pray, because you managed to wear an indecent cloth to the office. Obviously, you cannot pray. That means Zuri, you will be owing Zuri. Asri, you'll be owing. Maybe by the time you get home because of traffic, my group has joined. And then before you finish cooking, it is the time for Isha. That's when you now start praying. Oh, that's what you call combined honors. And it is very, very bad. I give you one example. There was a young child who will never greet his mother. And the mother was wondering, why won't this child greet me? The child does not greet his mother except in the evening. And so the mother was saying, why won't you greet me? In the morning you will not greet, in the afternoon you will not greet, until it is at night, after supper, that you will not greet me. He said, yes, now, mommy, I used to see you. You won't pray, you will pack all the prayers. It's only in the evening you pray. And that's the only time you talk to God. So I have decided that is the only time I am going to greet you. So let us be conscious of what we do. Thank you very much.
Knowledge base. Anywhere Muslims are gathered, you can be sure that a lot of knowledge will come out from there, from different angles, and will all be enriched. Somebody was raising up her hand. Was he? Who? Who was the person? Okay. Okay, there. I'll come there immediately now.
My question goes like this. Please, what are the steps one wants to follow to guide someone who intends to change? Or the advice one gives someone who intends to change?
Okay, so when you mean change, there is a negative behavior and the individual wants to change it to positive. Is that what you mean? Okay. So when there is a negative behavior and the individual wants to change to positive, I outlined 3 ways that this can be done. The first one was to understand how learning takes place. Because whatever behavior exists, you were not born with it. You didn't come with it. You learned it. And the same way you learned it, you can unlearn it. Now, this is where you need to understand how to do it. Because that behavior exists. If you want to change it, you need to replace it. It's like a smoker, Sometimes when they say a smoker needs to stop smoking, some of the recommendation is that maybe you should start chewing gum or doing this or using fake cigarettes. Because your neurology, the way it is taught, is already used. The way your brain is taught is already used to that thing. So you need to replace it. Let me give you an example. Supposing this place was a bush now, and somebody is used to, people are used to following it. What happens? It becomes smooth. What happens if people stop following it? The bushes will grow back. So that's how habits are formed. You have to allow your neurology change that habit, but you have to replace the existing habit with a positive one that is closely linked to it. That's why you see that for smokers, they might say, okay, start chewing gum or start, carrying fake cigarettes. Because you still have some of the feeling, some of the satisfaction you have from the previous behavior. So you can graduate itself. Once you change, then you can, change it until you stop, that even the one you replaced it with, you can still change it, but you have to make it gradual. Some people come out and say, I want to change how to do something. They stop all of a sudden, and the body is not used to it. So the body will revolt, and you feel it's difficult. It's because you didn't follow the process. You have to make it gradual. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during his time, when because of his character, people embraced Islam. He did, even people would insult him, he would still talk to them kindly. People will do all sorts because he knows that it is not like for like that will get them to drop that habit they are doing. He has to pace them.
gently to where you get them to, change what they were doing to become what you want them to become. The same with yourself. Whatever you're doing that you want, you need to stop. You need to gradually, stop it. Another one is to seek professional help. And the professional will take you through therapy. Therapy is a specialized field. Once you go through therapy, 3 things are likely to happen. For some individuals, immediately they stop that habit. I've had people who came to me who wanted to commit suicide, and it was a flip for them. Immediately after therapy, the idea of suicide disappeared from their heads, and they were now more empowered, because I will replace that idea to live more meaningful lives. For some people, it's a sense of hopelessness. And what do you do for that kind of person in therapy? You replace that sense of hopelessness with purpose. And then another way that we looked at is to have awareness, the 3 A's. You need to be aware first. And one of the awareness tools you can use is to do a personality assessment test. There are a lot online. I'll recommend Mayor Briggs for you. It will tell you your strengths. It will tell you your weaknesses. It will tell you how to go about rectifying them. For somebody who is very generous, if the person now decides to take the school fees of his child and dash it out, that generosity is no longer a strength. It has become a weakness. So some days ago, a sister came to me and she had problems in her marriage. I could see that it was a personality problem for her, and I told her. She didn't want to accept. I suggested it to her, and I gave her the test to go and do. It came out of the test. She was like, I said, what surprised you about the test? She did it herself. I wasn't there. And she was like, okay, now I understand better, because the text explained it to her, everything she needed to know about the weaknesses in her character and how to go about rectifying it. So you even need to be aware first. Ask people around you, research about your personality type. Then after awareness, some people, they live in a bubble. Even if something is staring them in the face, they will refuse to accept it. So after you are aware, you need to take ownership. You need to accept it. And then you now need to take action on changing it. And what are some of the ways you can take action? Once again, therapy. Once again, you can use envisioning. And envisioning is you seeing yourself in the future with a replaced behavior. For instance, if you're the kind of person that gets angry easily, try taking deep breaths and seeing yourself maybe in 3 days' time, 1 month's time, being calm, and soft-spoken like Hajia, in situations where you normally, be irritated or angry. You even have, a role model now. Just practice. Go to the front of the mirror and practice speaking like Hajia. And if you want to become like me, practice speaking like me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'll try that. Yeah, from what I learned from her, we just have to be
deliberate. You have to be after her. We have to be deliberate in changing ourselves. Deliberate and intentional. Hajia, you have a question. Please be telling us your name before you ask a question so that we can document it.
My name is Halima Yusuf. I would like you to know what you have to tell our mothers. This self-denial of a thing. We are talking of being aware of ourselves. Unfortunately, I came very late. Listen to me. There's something I've seen in several mothers. Where you see their children doing some certain things, and you try to call their attention to it, but they will give you every excuse. They will defend the child instead of correcting the child. Sometimes it's funny when they come back at a later time to complain about that same child to you. This one has passed my power, this, she is that. Forgetting that you once
advise them or told them some things about the children. I don't know what you have to tell them.
Okay, so let's do it this way because we're running out of time.
Hajia Halima, let's take your question. You have a question too. Okay, so we take Hajia Halima, we take then you respond to all of them because we have a very brief ceremony. We want to close before Zohar. So we don't want you to capture.
The family used to be a close unit whereby the child belongs to everyone in the family, on the streets where you live, and the entire community. What has happened recently has become much more than a moral decay that we can't even explain. Where a child is now for the father and the mother alone. That whereby when that child goes wrong, no one else can correct the child except the parents. We find a situation whereby the child goes to school and misbehaves. The teacher punishes the child, the parents mobilize, go to school, and beat up the teacher. And all these moral decay are affecting the entire society. So how can this be explained in the context of the lecture that you have given? The second one is that there are some people, they know they have a bad habit, and they try to change it. They actually change it, and you could see that they actually change. But after some years, they relapse and come back to that kind of behavior or character that they hitherto have changed before. What could be responsible? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nadia, please let's have your question so that you will respond. You are taking those, right? Good.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sharifat. My question to one you said that touched me very well is the habit of getting angry quickly. I know myself that I'm a very nice person. I'm accommodating. And I have the privilege to do good to everybody. But this hungry, when you talk to me, I give it back to you immediately. And immediately I get it back to you, and I know that I get wrong. There are some lapses there. I'll call you. I'll apologize. But that thing that make me angry, maybe it's prayer. And now I've calmed down. I've calmed down. I know that I've calmed down. And now people see me. If they see me, if you see me when I'm talking, when I'm doing something, you say, this woman is so wicked. But it's not like that. But if you move closer to me, you will know I'm not like that. But that thing that make me angry, I used to pray very well that God should let me be patient. Maybe it's part of my character. But I want prayer that I'll be using so that I'll go down to chapter. Thank you very much.
All right, keep to Hadia. Let her respond. I hope there's no more question. All right, thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah. I've enjoyed all the interaction, and I would attempt to address these questions and give an x-ray of what I can see going on. When it comes to, I'll combine the first and second because the themes are similar. When it comes to community parenting, it's a value that our parents had. And unfortunately, it's a value that is now fading. And all of us were stakeholders in reviving this value. We start from wherever we are and use whatever we have at any moment in time to cause positive change to happen. So let's ask ourselves, amongst ourselves, what can we do about it? Because change between you and I. We can't invite people from outside to join us when the party is not going on. Let the party start first, and then we can invite people to join us. You know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, even some of the things he used to approve, it was either through silent approval or a nod or by verbal directive. So let's live by example. The thing is, the West is we're allowing the West to impact us in all ways. From the food we eat to the way we relate. But Hajia gave us a beautiful reminder. Hajia Wada gave us a beautiful reminder. As Muslims, our culture is Islam. Once you say, I submit, wherever you live, you have the Sharia as your culture, as your standard. You hear people say that life has no manual. Is it true that life does not have a manual? What even the scholars have said when it comes to child tarbiyah, it is each and everyone's responsibility. My sister, it is your responsibility to contribute to the upbringing of the child of the community. And the community today is global. I have teachers that live in the UK, Australia, US, and I learn and I get certified. Are we not influencing each other across borders? So, my sister, what are you doing about it? You can actually come up with an NGO focused on it. What are we doing about it as a group? Do we want to come up with that? Just like we have the Ramadan lecture, we come up with it. In a day, let's come out and deliberate on what to do about this, fading value, and how we can begin to practicalize it, one step at a time, one person at a time, so that we can uphold this sunnah and we'll get rewarded for it. May Allah strengthen us. Then, on checking anger. Alhamdulillah for Islam once again. Everything, all answers, they are in the Sunnah. That's why even that neurological levels of change, on top of it, they say spirituality. Everything is there. But do we even know? So if we're researching, we would see it. If we're in gatherings like this, we will hear it. The Prophet ﷺ said, when you are angry, if you're standing, you sit. If you're sitting, you lie down. And he said there is nothing that quenches anger like water, because anger is from Shaitan. So you quench fire with water. And if it persists, go and observe ablution and observe 2 rakah. I'm even happy for our mother. She knows how to check it and she makes amends immediately. How does she now sustain it? She sustains it by practicing it. And one of our mothers also asked that, why is it that sometimes you change a bad habit and it surfaces? Because we are children of Adam and Allah forgives, our shortcomings. Please, my brother, there is this display. Can you put it up? That one that has the lantern there. I want us to see it. It is not as if we would not sin. It is not sinning that is the problem. It is persisting in sinning. And then Allah rewards when you have a thought to sin and you check yourself. Allah rewards you for checking yourself. Allah rewards you for doing good. Allah rewards you for repentance. To the extent that he said that if there was nobody sinning and seeking repentance from him on earth, he will follow the act. Right? So it is very, very, very important for us to know the importance of checking ourselves, checking each other, and then repenting. Because just like I stated when I was speaking earlier, it is the trick of Shaitan when he makes you think that when you have sinned,
it is hopeless. There is nothing that is hopeless until we return to Allah. There is a story that was told of a man. He went to a scholar and he told the scholar, I've killed 99 people. What can I do? I want to repent. And the scholar said, there is no repentance for you. So he killed that scholar and he continued on his journey. When he continued on his journey, he went to another scholar and that scholar told him that, okay, you should go far away from the village in which you committed this act. You should migrate to another village. What's the scholar telling him? You know that neurological levels of change, the environment. He should migrate from that environment. And it's sooner for us that if we are in an environment that is not allowing us to practice Sharia, we should migrate from there. Now back to the story. The scholar told him that he should move far away from the village which he committed this sin and migrate to another village. And on his way migrating to another village, he died. What happened? The angel of mercy descended, and the angel of wrath descended, and they started arguing that. One said, I own his soul. The other one said, I own his soul. And then the judgment was that they should check the village he was migrating to. Is he nearer to it? Or is he nearer to the village he was migrating from? Alhamdulillah. That was the judgment. If he's nearer to the village he was migrating to, then he's for the soul, or he's for the angel of mercy. And he's closer to the village from which he was coming from. He's for the angel of wrath. So let's check ourselves, dear sisters, dear brothers, dear listeners. Are we striving against our desires? That's what Allah wants from you. Are you striving genuinely? You know, Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein. He's closer to us than us. Is there anything closer to you than where water passes into your body? But Allah has told us. So He sees everything. Once a bad thought comes, that thought coming is not in your control. What is in your control? To check that thought and send it on its way. Say, oh, thank you, but bye-bye. And then Allah is seeing all that. The angels are recording it. And may Allah accept our repentance, keep our feet steadfast upon goodness. And may He make us do salam to each other in Jannatul Firdaus. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is very interesting. It's as if we should continue, because we are all learning, and I'm seeing the body language of everybody in the audience. Dr. Rekia?
Assalamu alaikum, sisters. Just to make a little addition, sister, you can also do Kulu Allah when anger overtakes you. Kulu Allah will calm you down. Like she said, if you are standing, sit down. Do it as you are standing, do it as you are sitting, do it as you are lying down. And if you are doing it consciously, before you even get to the second stage, you would have told yourself to be calm. Sister Rafat, I think you two, you have forgotten. There was a prayer. Before you read the third one, your anger would have gone. Especially since you are walking consciously at it. So you are teaching yourself. Another thing I need to add, generally from all that we have talked about today, is even when you advise people, they are in the wrong, you want to advise them, please watch how you advise. Because how you advise may also anger somebody into doing what is wrong. Let me just make a specific example. A sister came out now and said, you know how we women are acidic. It's a general assumption. Don't assume that all women are acidic in what they speak. And even if some are,
when you are giving a general advice, don't generalize that all women are bad. Otherwise, you are, as you send the story, you are saying that the story is true, instead of taking it from the mouth of those who say it. Women are beautiful people. We are gentle. We give love when we get love. In fact, nothing begets love other than love. So we should encourage that we be loved, so that we can give love, absolute love in return. And then in submission, when you are married to somebody who loves you, I don't know what other thing a woman can do other than submit to that love. So let's also be careful as we are aging and we are giving advice to people. Let's weigh our words in giving advice.
Let me make this appeal before we leave, that this is the first edition of the weekly Ramadan lectures by women for women. So every Saturday at 10 a.m., we will be seated here to listen to another lecture. Inshallah, next week, we are going to be having a woman to come and talk to us about polygamy. Polygamy is one of the greatest challenges we are facing now. All of us want to do my husband alone. Okay? Women are murdering their husbands because of polygamy, and they are Muslims. They are murdering co-wives because of jealousy. So we want to talk about polygamy next week, inshallah. We are having a lecturer coming in here to come and talk to us about contemporary issues in polygamy, ma'am. Social media handle, like this is transmitted live on iMedia, and then we are going to share the link. It's also on YouTube as we speak, so all those who are not here will have the opportunity to be part of it. I want to, yes, we are going to share the handles. All right. Okay, great. Your Excellency, ma'am. We are very grateful for your presence. We are very thankful for all the support that we get from you and His Excellency. And Hajia Aisha Ismail will just do. You are one of us. We know. You are. I said it before. You are not a guest here. You are home. You are one of us. We don't want to show you appreciation. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Where are the cameras? Mona, snap them. Thank you so much. God bless you, ma'am. Then our lecturer. Thank you so much. Okay, she's a sister. She's a family member. Mashallah. Thank you so much, Aisha. You are going to come back again next week because we are doing polygamy next week, and we need some of these competencies to address issues of polygamy. We want to round up now because inshallah it's time for Zuhur. They will soon do the call for Zuhur. But Hajia Aisha Ismail, our team leader here, will do the vote of thanks.
Thank all of you that have come today to honor us. This is our maiden edition of a Women for Women Habibiyah Ramadan lecture that we're holding throughout the month of Ramadan every Saturday morning up to from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm very proud to be here today because this is the first time we're having this, and once we were organized into a team to make this happen, nobody felt any resistance. We all came out, all hands on deck to make sure this happened. I want to thank our excuse
want to thank our sister, Aisha, my namesake. It took just, yes, it took just one phone call. It took just one phone call, and she was ready to attend this event today. I tell you, if you didn't take anything out of our lecture today, is a pity. Because what she has given us today, she charges very, very expensively for it. I felt very honored that she agreed to come, and you can see the token that we gave to her. I know about how much she charges for her Linguistic programming. I know the coaches that take this course, and I know that it is very, very expensive. So if you didn't write anything down, if you didn't pick something, well, too bad. All I would advise is when you hear her name for another event, try and be there. I'm very, very happy. Our guest of honor. You see, when women organize things, sometimes they kind of, people kind of look down on women, especially Muslim women. They think we don't have brains. But they don't know that our heads are covered by not our brains. That is why you could come to a place like this from the Quran reciter, Ms. Halima Bawa. She is a chemical engineer who is serving here in Abuja, and she will recite the Quran from cover to cover. That is a Muslim woman. That is the ideal children we are begging God to help us with. In fact, one of our lectures topic is going to be about bringing up children in this modern environment with all the challenges around peer pressure and all that. So we advise all women, please bring your teenagers to the next lectures. Let them come and listen and learn one or two things, because these things we have to learn them from young. You know, we have to learn them very early as we're growing up. We're sitting down here. Here is a coach of international repute. She can lecture anywhere. She can give her, she holds her own. She's very strong academically. She took me back this afternoon to some of the lectures I had when I was in university, psychology. And I was like, oh, I learned this, this conscious mind and unconscious. Actually, I want to attend any of your lectures on that. Please let me know. I'll go anywhere it is. And we thank our able chairperson who has always been there for us in this Habibiyah. Anything, anywhere, she's always there. She's also organizing the women, Dr. Rikia. Just call her and she is there for us. I thank you very much for agreeing to chair this occasion. Yes, Hedja, I noticed you weren't sitting. So I was just saying that I'm very proud to be a Muslim woman. A Muslim woman, at least, they think that Muslim women, when they see us covered, until you open your mouth, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know. They tell me you don't look like a Muslim. I said, I don't understand what you mean by that. Oh, you don't talk like a Muslim. I said, I don't understand what you mean by that. Because my head is covered, but my brain is not covered. So, that is what it is. This is somebody that has worked in the bank. She's been a wife of a governor. That means she has handled a lot of projects. She has organized women events and all that. She's been all over the world. So what are we looking at? I am very, very happy for how this turnout has been today. I know that this is the first one. The next one, I'm sure, is going to even be bigger than this. Please tell your sisters, tell your brothers. Tell your sisters, tell your children. Let them come. Let us learn one or two things. We will learn every day. Things you don't know before, you will know them today. Haven't you, ladies, learned some things? Please bring your friends to next Saturdays. Every Saturday, we have 3 Saturdays to go. So please, just join your hands together with us as we organize this women event and be here all the time that we call upon you. Hajia, thank you very much. Thank you for getting up. We thank you, Sister Aisha. I've told you when you are having your next lectures on these issues, call me. I'm going to be there. Thank you. I thank my team members who are really cooperated with me on this organizing this event. Hajia Rafa and I, we used to organize chatting this thing 1 a.m. chatting. She would be like, people are sleeping, we are here chatting. I say, yes, this thing has to be successful. And my sister,
Thank you